and it worked for them. I believe that as women, or growing up as girls, we all have ambitions. We all believe that I want to grow, be somebody important in life. I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a professor. And then aside that, we also want to have a nice guy to marry, tall and handsome. And then it's surprising, almost every girl wants to marry a tall guy and who is handsome. And I'm like, what happens to the short ones? You want to marry, you want to have 3 beautiful kids in addition to that, and then work. So it's like that's what we all dream to be. And then it's come to the fact that those days when our mothers were raising us, they were mostly staying at home. We know this already. And even if they were not staying at home, most of them were teachers, nurses, administrator, clerk. She will close early and definitely come home to take care of the family. And that time too, we know, I don't know about other countries, but in Ghana they will tell you that, oh, as for marriage, the way to a man's heart is through food. Yeah, or is it through the stomach? Yeah. So you have to know how to cook well. And basically, if you're able to take care of your husband, you cook well. After marriage, your husband develops a pot belly, and then that means you are taking good care of him. You are a good wife. But I think that perspective has changed, and it has really changed drastically. In fact, the way to a man's heart is no longer through food. Seriously.
Tell us.
They want. No matter how well you can cook, it doesn't really make your marriage successful. And then, no matter how bad you can cook, that's not a factor to make your marriage successful too. Because now men are cooking too.
Amen.
Give it up. Give it up.
And then men are, even if you can't cook, your husband will cover up for you. Mostly, she won't expose you for people to know that my wife can't cook. It's a new trend. We are in it together. We want to make it together. So the basic assumption to marriage has changed. Now mothers are not staying at home. Mothers are also working. Mothers are also bankers. We all go to work and come back late and tired. How do we pick it up from there? Now let's look at the modern marriage now. Like I said, all the couples are now working. And it's not like they are just working. They are having serious jobs. Whereby a man is probably a doctor, the wife is a banker. Full-time jobs. Or the man is an engineer who travels around. The wife is also probably a big-time businessman, woman who goes to Dubai for things and come and sell. Meanwhile, they have 3 kids. How do they combine it? How do they make it possible? In this our modern marriage too, we also see situations whereby women get promotions or men get promotions and they have to work for longer hours. And then who takes care of the children while you stay late at the office to do a board meeting? Let's say you come home around 9, 8, or even 10 p.m. Who is taking care of the children at that time? And then also in our modern day, we see situations where because of promotion, one of us must travel. Because of promotion, one of us must stay in another region or outside the country while another stays in the country. So in that instance, how do we make it possible? How does it work for both of us? Now, because of that, there has been that idea of the modern woman, who they assume as a career woman. And then it's like, okay, as a career woman, your task is difficult. You have a lot on your hand to make sure that you raise your kids, to take care of your family, and also be successful at the office. Now, when this idea was coming up, I see it as the basic assumption to feminism. What has happened in our world now, I understand, is that in the olden days, or our fathers, those of us whose fathers are very old, like my father, they didn't really care much about household chores. It was about working and bringing food to the house, while the mothers took care of the household chores. But now the tables have turned. They are saying that, okay, women can also become great workers. Women can also aspire to achieve their dreams. Therefore, women now want to go to the office. And then on the contrary, men also feel like, oh, we have not been spending time with our children, so we want to spend time with our children now. So now you see the up and coming young guys are so much concerned about their families. They want to, you see men going out in the mall, they are in the mall with their family, their children by their neck. They want to be that caring father. I always say that it's because of Father's Day, so that Father's Day will praise them. But I think it is the reality. Men are also getting interested. So basically, as women want to go to the office and be tough and be strong and achieve their dreams, men also are thinking of, how do I make time to spend some time with the children? How do I spend time to be with my wife? How do I help my wife in a bit? Probably not all men are thinking that way, but I think that's what is really happening. Now, because of that, it has come to the situation where people are asking that, okay, women, career, and family, how do we combine the three? And mostly when career and family is mentioned, the first person that comes to mind is woman. Why not the man? Why not the man staying home to take care of the children? Why not the man sacrificing their job? But always the perspective, when that idea comes, it's just like women. So I was like, okay, why did they say that the perspective of a woman and not the perspective of a man? It's something that has become very, very complicated. Now the problem is that for us women, there was no single time that you will marry alone, or a time for you to have children alone, or a time for you to pursue your career alone. Unfortunately, you have to do the three together. Every woman desires to have children. Some women desire not to have children though. Some women feel like, oh, I want to pursue my career to a certain age before I can have children. But it also boils down to the fact that as women, it gets to a point that if you don't take time, you may not really be able to probably give birth because of our biological clock and all that. So between the age of 25 to 40, every woman has to make that important decision of marriage, of children, and also to pursue your career. If you want to be a doctor, I don't think that you start being a doctor probably at the age of 35 or 40. You would have to start at the age of probably 23 when you are just going to the university to make the decision about which course to choose and all that. After you do your first degree, you may probably have to do a second degree. All of that takes time, and those decisions must be made between that age. Now, let's look at it from this angle, with this background. All these great women we see in town, all these great women who are becoming like world-class women that we see around, how did they make it? Are they married? Are they having children? How is their family going? Are they having issues in their family because they are married and they are career women? If not, how did they make it? I think there was a way out. Let's look at some women. You can think of Helen Johnson Sirleaf. Like when I heard that she was the president of Liberia, I was like, really, a woman? We've broken that thing, that tradition of women not being able to go up there. Now women are really up there. Prime ministers, you can think of them. Great women out there who have made it. They are all up there. But let's look at their life. Helen Johnson Sirleaf wasn't married. She broke up with her husband after 4 years. After 5 years of marriage, they had 4 kids, and after 1969, she has not been married up till now. So, and then she becomes a female president. And it's like, is it because she's not married? Where are her children? Who is taking care of them? They are now grown for all you know. But at that time, when she was starting her career, because for you to become a president, you start from somewhere. You work hard at the party level, in your society, in the country. You do a lot before you get up there, just like men do. But she was able to make it, and she is not married. Let's look at Gloria Kufu, those of us from Ghana. She is the what's it?
Attorney General.
Attorney General. Yes. She's not married. She has 1 kid. And that woman, when you see her, you see intelligence in definition. She's just smart, strong, willed, and all that. Is it because she's not married that she made it up there? How about that popular girl, Nana Banamwa, a journalist in Ghana? She's not married. She has 1 kid, and she's all over the place, strong. Women, and mostly you see these people, and it's like they are women activists. They are good. They stand for women, but it's like they are not married. They don't have much to probably take care of. Now let's look at the reality of the married woman who is also a career woman. What is she really facing? Now we can come to the conclusion that basically there's that assumption that although men and women are working on the same thing at work, most women are earning lesser than men. And in instances where women are even earning more, when they go home, they still work more than the women, than the men. It is assumed that women do approximately 38% of the work in the house, while men do only 18%. Women do a lot. So with all this, what then can women do to be successful as career women? Now, I just came to the conclusion that a woman must be strong-willed and really, really hard-working. When you look at the Proverbs 31 woman, the virtuous woman that most men want to have in their home, it's a hard-working woman. The Proverbs 31, mostly they will come to the conclusion and say beauty is fleeting, but a good wife who can find, a woman who fears the Lord who can find. Yes, we all fear the Lord. We all love God. We all want to be God's children. But what really can we do to make all of this come together, work well, blend together, get that successful marriage, and also achieve our career ambitions? I came to the conclusion that the career woman is just hard working. She works really hard. If you read from verse 10 downwards, I even came to understand that. Is it that the husband was not working and it was the wife? The wife buys a fine yard and plants it. It's like she was the one providing for the home. The husband is respected when he sits among the ladies. What happens? It's not like we are saying that women are supposed to do everything and men not do anything. But I've come to realize that the ultimate goal of marriage is not to combine 2 careers. It's not to have a doctor and a banker working and all pushing to get the same career success. No, it can work that way, but then the 2 of them have to come together and really come to a consensus and understand each other. There should be an ultimate goal to marriage. Now the 2 of us are married. I'm probably a teacher. My husband is a doctor. Our vision is to have a lot of money and help people in society. Whose work will give us more money? If I, being a teacher, am going to work every day, the money that I bring is probably 5 times lesser than that of my husband, and my husband is earning more. Then why not come to understand and blend the situation and probably stay at home for some years to raise the kids before you go back to work? It's a great sacrifice women don't want to hear. But let's look at the example of a woman like Melinda Gates, Bill Gates' wife. Bill Gates' wife went to Gifty University. She is a graduate of computer science. She was amongst those who started Microsoft. It was when she was working at Microsoft that Bill Gates saw her and married her. But at the end of the day, when she gave birth, she stayed at home for 6 years to give birth to 3 children and then went back to work. Not to work at Microsoft, but now to work at the Bill Gates Foundation. Probably her work has come down because of family. We can't do it all. Sometimes there should be a sacrifice. There are also men who have sacrificed to stay at home, take care of the children, while their wives also go to work, because their wives are earning more than them and they can't tell them to stay home. It will affect the family financially. So in all, I believe that a marriage should be 2 people who understand each other In fact, as a career woman now, you can only marry because the person you are marrying will understand your career, and then you understand the person's career. The two of you will work to achieve one aim and not two aims in a marriage, so that at the end of it all, we'll all be successful. If not, there will always be problems, there will always be divorce, and there will always be a challenge in the home. Thank you.
Oh, can we give a hand like that? So
I hand over to my senior.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably I'm senior to her. Yeah, as she said. Yeah, I think I'm now. This is my 6th year in marriage.
hey.
Yeah. So actually, what I want to start with, I want to tell you that like life doesn't have a formula. It's like with mathematics, we do equations. There are linear equations, quadratic equations. There's no way you can
Tell
solve
them.
that equation. You have to follow a certain formula. So with life and marriage, there's no formula. You can choose to study first, then you get married later. You can choose to marry first, then you come to school later. So it's all about choices, I guess, or maybe opportunities sometimes. So for myself, I got married my last year of my bachelor's. That's when I got married. I think that was 2014, yeah. And I stayed home like almost 4 years before embarking on my master. And now I came here, and maybe you are so surprised, like, why are you here? My husband is back in Zimbabwe. Actually, I come from Zimbabwe. So I want to give an example of myself. I'm not going to be talking of anyone because I've been there and now I'm experiencing it. Like, it's very difficult to be a career woman and at the same time you are a mother. Like, you have a family to take care of. That's very difficult. It just needs commitment and perseverance. So if you don't commit yourself, otherwise, for me, my first day is coming here in Birmingham, and I've been always telling my fellow colleagues that I opted to go back home. I was like, hey, I think I have to go back home because it wasn't easy. Like, you know, a lot of problems, everything that happens back home, they have to tell you first. They have to call you and tell you, and now you're trying to focus on your book. It's just difficult. Even when I was back home, I was working, and my husband was working too. I guess on the issue of working, we just have to negotiate and come to a certain level and have time. I should just choose a work like that. I can go in the morning and come back a bit home earlier. If my husband can be at work night shift or working during the night, then I can be home taking care of the kids. We cannot be away from home at the same time. That's very difficult. So, of course, we need to be working and we need money, we need a life. I can say we need a life, but that life doesn't come very easily. You have to sacrifice, you have to commit yourself. Then, with women, I have to talk also of age. It all depends. We know we have got legal age for marriage. In my country, 18 years, you can get married. You are said to be old enough to get married. But it's not that when you reach 18, you have to be worried, I have to get married, something like that. No. It's all about your choices. It's all about your career goals and everything. So you have to be, and you don't have to be worried also that, oh, I'm over 30 and I'm not married yet. You know, God has got a way of doing things. It's not that you have to be 23 and you have to get married, and you have to be 30 years and get married. You can do either way. You can be married at 80 and do your career at 30. And you can be married at 30 years and start your career at 40. There's no age. If you look into the Bible, we can give example of the Bible.
No
the case
pressure.
of Sarah. Sarah only had
No
a child
pressure.
at an old age. I don't really, but she was very old, the Bible says. So you can be married today and you cannot have a kid, or you cannot have what you want. So we just have to take away the mind of age. That's what I can say. take away the mind of age that how I can be married at this age, I can be married at this. Any time it can be a good time for you. And you find someone suitable for you, either a guy or a lady. There's someone waiting for you at that age, be 50, be 40. There's someone
Waiting list.
How do we build a lasting relationship in a career life? Like I'm a working woman and I've got a marriage also. It's all about you have to be open to each other. You have to be talking a lot. You have to share. It's not that because you know or you're a bit brighter, you have to be saying, you have to be declaring everything. I want this, I want that. You just have to sit on the table. You agree on certain items. We have to do this. Do you think this is possible? Maybe, yeah, no. I think we should do it in this way. Agreement is the most important thing. If you don't agree, things will just mess up. So, because sometimes when us as women we are working and I'm going to work and my husband is working too, sometimes if I come with a suggestion, she's like, oh, that's your workplace. They've been telling you what to say if you get home. I'm telling you real things. Like if they say, oh, this is what they'll be there, what they've been telling you. I guess it's not possible in my house, something like that. But no, it's just your suggestion. You've come, so you have to know how to air out your views to your husband or to your wife. I can say both, because they are going to be tomorrow's husbands and tomorrow's wives. So you have to be there.
2020 agenda 2020.
Weighing options. If you want to say something, just be analytic. Don't just go and say, oh, I think this. Study your husband. Know what he wants. Know what he doesn't like. That way will help you in your marriage. Then there's critical warning signs for your marriage. In our daily lives, how you behave or how I can even easily tell that, oh, today he's not well, something is going on, or something is troubling him. So you have to be aware of everything, and you have to analyze critically and talk to your husband, and your husband can talk to you too if things are not going on. That because if you are going to work, if you are a career woman, I know an example of me now. I'm here in Netherlands. I'm being stressed with a lot of things. So I need someone to be talking to all the time. To try, even if I keep it to myself, that will ruin my marriage, because I don't know what he'll be thinking. He'll be like, oh, I don't know, maybe she has moved on or something. But that's not the issue. Yeah, but that's not the issue. I'm not even thinking of anything of that sort. But I'm just being frustrated with some things here. So you have to be communicating. No, things that happen this way, and this helps your marriage to stay very healthy. I guess I can just say making your present marriage your last one. You just have to love your marriage. That's all. Because you chose the guy and you said, I do. I do. No matter you're in a bad situation, whatever, the I do thing doesn't go away. You have to be thinking of it all the time. Oh my God, I said I do. I have to stick to that one. I have to, you have to protect your marriage. It's not that because you are maybe some marriages are so violent. You cannot be in a marriage and you just be there, and because I said I do, I have to be violated my rights. That's they are rights. So you just have to be so contented. So you have to learn to compliment each other. That's the a healthy marriage. You have compliments. Just have one day, good morning, yeah, you look beautiful. That makes the day well. You'll be like, you'll be walking with shoulders up. You'll be just happy. Compliments from his wife, compliments from my husband. That makes me very proud. It's true. That doesn't end like here. You are still a girl and a boy saying I love you. Some marriages doesn't end. You have to continue doing that. Like, hey, you are beautiful today. You look fabulous. Even if he's going to work, yeah, just go there and try to make his clothes nice.
God.
Yeah. Just try to fix it. That, you can see that you care. You care about him. Yeah. That's what really meant what the husbands want. That's what they really want. Compliments from the wife is just something else. You feel like, you feel excited. Yeah. So you have to be complimented. When we come to the issue of conflict, you know, I want to give example of my marriage. You know, my husband has got this tendency, like when he's angry, he doesn't say it there like I'm angry. Now because I had to learn him slowly, and then I get to know, oh, that's how he is. He was like in the morning when he's not going to work and I'm waking up, I want to go to work. That's when he starts airing out his issues, because he knows I don't have time to be answering him. Like I don't know, like have time to quarrel. He's just like that. He waits for me to go and bath and come back. Then the moment I want to go out, he starts airing like whatever he wants to tell me. Like you have to do this, like this, and he knows I don't have time for him to be explaining a lot, because my time will be ticking and I want to go. So handling all those conflicts it's an important issue. You have to talk. Talking is something that is good. You know what you did, I don't like it. We have to sit down and settle things. Things just need to be settled, that's all. And you have to, if you feel you cannot handle the issue, God is there for you. Just close your door, kneel down, pray to God. God help me. You gave me this marriage. Actually for me, I prayed for my marriage. That's all. I prayed for it and God gave me a nice husband. And I'm a good wife too. So great marriage just needs good wives and good husbands. That supports our careers also. A problem brings more unity and love, because that's the most important thing. You know, when we grew up, I never saw my mother and my father having like quarrels or problems. Actually, they usually avoid that in front of us. But I guess those things just strengthen marriage. For me, for those 4 years, 5 years that I've seen a lot of problems, and some we create them for ourselves. Some they are coming from outside. So it's that strengthens your marriage. You get to support each other. You know, there are some. Being a career woman, someone who is going to work and being married, some people, because where we come from, they've got these beliefs that a woman must be home, nursing children, and the husband should be working. Because now we've got a bit of a mixed culture. It's a Western, and so people don't take it like, they don't really accept it. Like a woman can go to work. Even sometimes my coming here, like, oh, why are you going so far and leaving your husband here? There was some negatives and some positives that came out. So it's all about you two being in an agreement and your commitment. Then everything will just sail smoothly. So I think we just have to have so much strength in our marriage, and we just have to be commitment. We just have to be committed. We just have to persevere. We just have to agree. I think those are the most important things for everything. But speaking frankly, being a career woman and being a mother at the same time, it's not easy. It's only of God who can make this possible. And I just thank God because this is possible for me. I want to leave these verses for you so that you can be reading them They strengthen us for our marriages, resolving our conflict, strengthening everything. Genesis 1, verse 27 to 28. A woman is a helper. You have to be helping your husband. You have to keep on strengthening each other. That's why God created us. He knew we need to be there and we need to be supporting these men. You know, sometimes these people, they need our they need our help. They feel they can do it, but they cannot do without us. So they need us. Genesis 2, verse 24. Ephesians 4, verse 2 to 3. I cannot read them, but if someone can be reading for others, maybe, or you can read later. 1 Peter, verse 4 to 8. John 15, verse 12. Malachi 2, verse 14 to 15. Colossians 3, verse 14. Ecclesiastes 4, verse 9. So great marriages are built on great plans. Thank you, I think, for today.
Thank you very much. I've learned a lot. Well, let's appreciate them. So now, any questions from anyone to them?
Yeah, I think I have a question. So yeah, you were talking about as when you were married, you learned about more about your husband. So would you say you should learn about the person you want to marry before, or you should wait and during then you also learn about him? Or
actually, during your relationship as a girl and a boy, you can learn him, but you might not know the hidden part of him. Yes. Because he tried by all means to hide it, and you will never see it. Very true. It's only that you begin to know him when you are inside the house. Oh, this is how this man is. Yeah. Of course, I've got some hidden parts for my husband that I learned when I was in the house, but they were not very bad. They were not bad parts, but actually, I just learned them when I was married. Not that I wasn't learning him when we were not married. Of course, I knew a lot of him, but I didn't know another part of him. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think that with mostly you can't do both separately. If you really desire to marry, then I think that you focus on both. It's a matter of adjusting your career to suit your marriage, or adjusting your marriage to suit your career. Either way is your way. It can't be. You can pursue your career to a certain age, and you realize that now probably you can't marry, and you will be happy. Most unmarried women don't say they are not happy, but truly they are not happy. So I think that we have to combine both and take a break.
But for me, sorry for taking it. For me, coming from my master, it was my husband's idea. It wasn't mine. It was like, of course, I wanted to learn masters, but not very far, like here in the Netherlands. But he was the one like, encouraged me, you have to go. Even when I found the scholarship, I was like, no, I don't think I have to go. It was like, no, you go. It's nice. It was like the one encouraging me. So it all depends with your husband too, or your boyfriend, or how does he take it? Yes.
Okay, Faith.
Like I want to go back to that teacher example. If I'm a teacher, I'm earning like $5. And he's earning like $10 a month. I'm earning more than me, but I'm really passionate about teaching. Does that mean like I should give it up? And then also I was thinking long and hard about that. Yeah, I do want to get married. I'm engaged now, and sometimes I think about like I do want a family, right? And but does that mean that as women that we sometimes we waste money coming to school if we're going to just end up being at home?
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, because you know what, when we grew up, like our parents had faith in us, like you have to go to school and later you work, and maybe I cannot comment on the issue because Gift said about it. Maybe she can elaborate on the teaching aspect and learning. But if it was me, I wouldn't give up for the little that I am getting. Even if my husband is earning 10 times my salary, I have to have that money, no matter how it is. Because I work for it. It's not easy going to school, even if it's a diploma or a certificate, but you work for it. You need to earn something. Of course, you have to put priority of your family in front, but not to the extent that you lose your job. That's why I say being a career woman is difficult, but you have to enjoy it. So I guess you have to enjoy it at the same time earning your small money and your husband earning 10 times your salary and still be a teacher.
Yes. Okay. Let me add a little. I'll also say that basically you can't be dependent on a man at any age or at any stage in life. In fact, totally dependent is not good. But what I was saying, I got it from the perspective of Michelle Obama, her Becoming. I don't know if you've heard of it. She has written a book called Becoming. When she started life, she started as becoming me. I want to be me. I want to achieve my dream. And she was a lawyer. Then she married Obama, and it was like becoming us. If I'm a lawyer, I've married, and I want to be with my husband and make my marriage successful, then all my decisions or the decisions in the marriage should be us. Then after everything, she was like, then she came to the conclusion of becoming more. So let's take it that you've married. I want to be in academia, actually. I was lecturing in Ghana before I came here. I really desire to teach. But at the end of the day, I ended a contract and I had to come here for 3 months. I have students that I have to teach for this semester, that I've left them and I've come because I've not been with my husband for 1 year. When I go back home, I may have to go and look for another job because I've lost that opportunity. It doesn't change the fact that I want to be in academia. I still want to be there. Probably I may not get to be a lecturer, but if I get to be a secondary school teacher, I think it will still be teaching. So that probably later in life, I become the lecturer I really want to be. So I think that in all situations, a sacrifice, not total give up. And sacrificing for the better interest, like I said, if at the end of the day, he is earning more, I'm earning less, and then we want to sacrifice, who really has to sacrifice? It will be the one earning less to probably spend more time at home, not like probably completely staying at home, but at making some sacrifices that will make us earn the more that he is earning and the little that I will earn from God. I don't know if you get it, but that's the idea I have.
Okay.
What I want to say is that marriage is important. So as career too is also really important. As women, our career is also important. We need to consider that aspect. And also there are certain jobs when you want to combine with maybe marriage or your family, it's not difficult. Like teaching, as you said. For me, I always say that every mother should have been a teacher. I'm a teacher. I have friends, and teaching is the best job for mothers. Let's analyze this. Like, if those of us who are in the public schools, we even vacate before our children will vacate. We will close before they will close. They will come and meet us in the home. Weekends we are in the house with our children. So you see, there are certain careers that distract parenting. So maybe if maybe you want to be a really family woman, then you should consider your career, the choice of career. And most especially with the men. You see, nowadays the problem is we all want high people with high careers. Yeah, that's it. Let me put it. So maybe a doctor wants to marry a doctor. A doctor wants to marry a banker. But you see, this one is let me say it's a mess or improper fashion. Yeah, we should consider it. If you are a doctor, you see that your work is demanding. At least you need to consider someone whose work is flexible to be able to cater for your house and for your children. And teaching will be the best thing.
Oh, the men are not speaking. Okay, our first man.
I think one of the problems I've also come to realize is that Like, these are decisions that are not made when you are 32. When you are, these decisions should be made, you should make these decisions when the person is like 23. Because the consequence of these decisions is going to be reflected somewhere about 6 years later. And so, like, I'm 24, I have met somebody, I love her. You see, these things will not come to mind. Though.
Yeah, it's true.
I am a doctor, she's a banker. I love her, we love each other. So we've married, we are all 25 years now. So what would you recommend? What I'm trying to say is that these decisions don't come at a time when you just fall in love, you marry, and then realize, oh, a doctor, you run shifts. Probably you are in the house in the morning, but I am talking about banking because she's been in banking before, and then she'll close around 8.
Yeah.
It's not a joke, and then you have to be cooking. I tell you. Yeah, and you see, some men love to cook, but sometimes you know that what is this? You just want to come home and eat something. So I don't know what you have to say about this, and when you didn't think of it, and then the realities begin to hit you about 5 years later. Or 3 years later, when you realize you come home, oh, my banking woman has not closed from work. There is no food. But at that time, when you were young, it's so lovely to marry a woman who is in the bank. You see?
You are right, Emmanuel. Sometimes you realize these things very late, I guess. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't see any problem. That's why I said in marriage, you just need commitment.
Yeah.
If you know that your wife is a banker and she's coming from work late, that's 9 o'clock. My nature of my job, when I'm back home, sometimes I even pack my bags and leave the house. I go for 1 week, 2 weeks. I'm not home. I told you I'll be giving examples of myself. And my husband he accepts that because he knows that's the nature of my job, and he now give in himself into it, like, oh, this is how my wife works. He has no choice other than to commit himself into the system.
That's right.
So if you love your wife and you love her so much, you have to commit yourself into the system. That's what I can say. Because you cannot send her away because she's coming home late and you have got kids to take care of. You just have to. That's why I said you have to have commitment, perseverance. It's painful sometimes. You just have to be strong. I know. I even sometimes go out for 2 weeks, and I pack my bags, then I come back. But we are still together and we are enjoying our marriage. I tell you, I swear in front of God, I don't want to lie. I just swear that I'm enjoying my marriage. So you just have to commit. Yes, that's all. If you want anything to be fine with you, just commit yourself. And I know it's not easy, but you just have to enjoy it. That's all. Because there's no way you can change it. You cannot send her out. Because you need a so it's something that is there and we cannot change it. So we just have to. Otherwise, maybe she can opt to change the job and look for another one. But maybe it's not easy that changing jobs. But you consider that also. But it's not like something that can be happening overnight. You have to take time. I know. They're like, oh, why don't you change? Because this one is taking a lot of time. Now, see, you are coming home late. You just need to discuss. That's all. But I know.
Yeah, I have a suggestion and a question. One is a follow-up to what you said. I don't feel that women going to school would be complete, not necessary, because maybe sometimes your education could be to help your husband. Say your husband is
not sometimes, always.
Okay, always. Yeah, that's true. And I also I was once listening to this couple, the Ghanaians would know Ochiame Kwame and his wife. I've forgotten her name. They are very popular couple because they are really close and everything. But one time he was telling their story and he said that his wife used to work in the corporate world, and she used to come back home really, really, really late. And he was coping with it, until one time he was just fed up. And he was like, it's either you do something about this, or like I will have to find ways of being happy.
Hey,
You don't load himself into the system.
Yeah. So and she took a step, and then she actually joined him in his business now, and they're working together. But I would want to ask, or want to say, is there like a breaking point? Aren't you considering that maybe there could be a breaking point where, you can only take something for so long, or till you can, I don't know what you think about it.
The man or the woman.
Either way, it's for both of them, but usually from the men's side when they.
That's what I said. Maybe because this man just stayed waited for a long time. Maybe he thought something would change, and he could not hold it up anymore. So that's what I was telling Emmanuel, that maybe you opt here to change the job or the kind of work. Like, please, may you leave this and try. Let's do this. This is all about agreement, the two of you. Sure. Yeah, because you cannot be living away from each other for such a long time. But if you know this thing is just for this time and it will end in the next 2 months, and then you start to live your normal life, I think that will be nice. Okay. But because this thing is not ending, it's going on and on, or you can see that it's going to be the rest of my life living this life, I think you just have to look for an option. Either the woman changes the job, or I don't know what's best suit you, or she quits, I don't know. But it's all about you in agreement. Yes.
Okay, for the sake of time, we take the last two questions. Then.
The fact is, men are not caretakers in the house. It's a fact. So if you take maybe 10 men, you get only 3 of them who will be sacrificing in the house, doing what women are supposed to do. So as women, fine, it's good. We need to pursue our career. It's important. So as our marriages are also important. But whatever we are doing, we need to take big consideration when it comes to our family. How our home affairs is really important. Other than that, maybe fine, you'll be lucky that maybe your husband understands you. He pushes you, he encourages you. Even some men, they even feel challenge of our positions. They feel challenge, you climbing up, and then they even want you to be a housewife. And that one too, it can never happen. But the thing is, it can never happen. So the thing is that we need to adjust it. The work we are doing, at least we shouldn't all that be money conscious. Our family is important. You get all the money, by the time you realize your children are wayward. It's really important. So that one too,
you are right. You are right, because my husband encouraged me because he's already a master and he's already somewhere higher. So I'm not on his level. I'm just below his level. So he just wants me maybe to uplift more also. So it's very tricky when the husband is somewhere maybe below you, and you want to pursue a master, and he's
pulling down.
He's down. Yes, or something. He might not like the idea. He might discourage you. I support you.
Let's take Simba, then we take Africa. So let's do it quick, please. No preamble, just
Okay. I think it's more of a follow-up to what they've been saying. I've also seen the issue of career getting to affect probably the relationship between the husband and the wife, in the sense that sometimes because I think I've actually had several examples of people that I know that found themselves in that situation, where the woman probably was not, because I know that women want attention, women want love, they want care. And if the man is probably working and always maybe he's not staying at home a lot, he's always maybe going out, maybe sometimes for a week or something, and then it's just work, and the woman is not getting full attention and care. Whilst the man is trying to get money to feed the family, it also strains the relationship, and you find the woman is not happy, not satisfied, and she becomes vulnerable, such that if any man from outside comes and tries to show care and love and affection and the listening heart, then the woman will tend to get attracted to that man, and it has led to so many relationships breaking, so many marriages breaking. And there was actually a story that I was really touched, because the woman, she had endured, she had tried to wait, but the woman she tried to communicate to the man that, hey, you're not creating time for me. You always work, trying to get the money, but you're not giving me attention. And it happened for so long until the woman was whenever the man was not there, someone else was giving that woman attention. Ended up taking her place, and they were going to places and having a nice time, and trying to satisfy herself. So I've also seen that and I don't know what's your take on that. The man was trying to get money for the family, but at the same time,
that's why I said thank you, Jesus, because we are here and you are learning, you've got your career. That's why I said life is just full of ups and downs. It's good that you have your education and your career before you go into this thing called marriage, because you go already equipped with everything to avoid all these situations. But it's very unfortunate for those who get married and they don't have any career or anything, and this sort of thing starts to happen. That's why I said maybe the woman, it's all about your heart, your commitment, and everything. That means maybe she can no longer enjoy, and they're not talking of their issues. I cannot be in the woman's heart and try to convince her to like the husband, even the husband is not there for him. But because it's very true that the husband is trying to provide for the family. So I guess for me, I just say, because you have got the chance and you have got the career, please just have your career and get married later. That's to avoid all these kind of things. Because you have seen it, it's not a good thing that you have been married and you have got kids, then at the end of the day you separate. It's a pathetic thing for the kids, So I guess it's good to have your career though.
I also think that, let me add something on this issue. Mostly there shouldn't be so much disparity between you and your wife, or you and your husband. Your husband shouldn't be so high than you and so lower than you in our modern world in terms of education. Let's take it that your master is a master degree, and then you have only senior high school certificates. You are not willing to go back to school. You've given birth here in the house. You've eaten. The mom will say you are growing big. You are not slim. You are not attractive any longer. No, like now we are all moving along. Couples must work to educate each other. That if I have the masters, in no time your wife must also get masters. And mostly if we are all having the same educational certificate, respect is mutual. It is not one person looking up to the other or one person looking down to the other. If I have a master's and you have masters, you can't tell me anything, or you can't just leave me for long hours. I understand what you are doing out there, so I won't have issues with you. Or it's when there was no there was so much disparity where women, most of the time in Africa especially, women feel like there are some women where their husbands pick their laptop and it's like, hey, daddy is busy, don't disturb that. You don't even know what he's doing on the laptop. For all you know, he's just on WhatsApp or Facebook, and you feel he's really working hard. So because you don't understand what he's doing, so there shouldn't be so much disparity. If we are all together, we all know what is happening in each other's life, and we understand it better. That's what I think.
Please, for the sake of time, let's take the last two people who raised their hands, because we are far behind time. Nana, after reading Naki, we'll continue the conversation on WhatsApp. my question is, when it gets to the point where upon the commitments and agreements things don't seem to work, I love my job, my wife loves her job, and then we have children, I come back late, she comes back late, will you commend the idea of bringing in a house help? If you're
Yes, I recommend that, because how will you take care of your kids? You are at work and the husband is at work. Of course, that's how the way we
considering the negative aspect of
the house helpers. Oh, that's what that you just leave that in the hands of the this is real. Just leave that to the Almighty God. He's the one, because you cannot be like, oh, because of this help I heard a lot of stories, and actually you just have to look for someone whom you trust. It's all about trust. It's not that you want a helper, and it's all about trust. You just have to commit yourself. Oh, because we have trusted this, because you cannot do away with your job, I cannot do away with my job, because we need someone to take care of the kids. It's all about your agreement and
I also would want to add that a little. Realistically, everybody hears about household and it's like, ew, but it is really real. Most successful women or most successful marriages couldn't do away with helps. You need somebody to help you, either a relative or somebody you've hired to come in and help you. In our modern world, there are professional households. Nannies. They call them nannies now. You can't do away without them.
But back home where I came from, we don't it's like you just pick a village girl.
Not a village girl. You get an old woman. The problem is maybe he's thinking about the negative aspect of a house. Maybe he might get interested in the house. Get an old woman.
We are supposed to be on the same page. So professional
Temptation.
of course.
Get an old woman.
Hello. Are we on the same page? Okay, Nana, is your question duly answered? Not to your expectation, but I think they've really touched on the essentials of it. Let's take a hit, then we wrap up.
Okay, it's not really a question, but okay, let me just say something about yours. With the issue of, it's not a question, I just want to add up with the issue of like getting a house help. Yeah, it can really help. Okay, but talking from the perspective of it depends on how your husband or who your wife is. Okay, and so there are some men, it doesn't matter what, once they've decided to stay committed to you, it doesn't matter how the house help is. But there are some men, yes, I'm sure, but there are some men part of two crystal. So it all boils, and it also depends on the kind of house help you bring. Okay, if that person, I believe if that person have God at heart, that person wouldn't say or wouldn't go behind you. Because I'm saying this because I know that experience. I know that, okay, and yeah, because I have a brother, and that brother is from a house help who came to help my mom, and then I got a brother from there. So you understand me? Yes. So I got a brother from someone my mom took to come and help her. And so I got a brother from there. Do you understand?
Yes.
And so when it happens like this, it creates a lot of trouble. And so before you can go in for a house help, I just believe that the marriage it's centered around God. Just involve God in it and let Him direct you, or pray into it before you just go and choose someone, because these households can destroy marriages. I tell you. Now, with the issue of career women and family, if you want your family, for you to be able to know that your family is successful, look at your children, the level that they grow to and how they become. Because my dad travels, he's not in the house. he goes away for like a month, he comes on Friday, Sunday he leaves. And my mom is also busy going to the market. And trust me, as I was growing up, I always say that it is God that has kept me. Because 4:30, my mom is gone. She'll come back in the evening like 7. Odidi she'll sleep. So who is taking care of us? Do you understand? And my father had family members who comes to the house, and these people, if you are not careful, they will destroy your children. Because I had a cousin whether he's a cousin, and what that guy came to the house, if not for God, like things would have happened. So not that like, but yeah, so some of these things, if you're a career woman, I just want you to, you should end me, I know. Yeah, if you're a career woman, just your children are very important. Just look at a career that you can still have time to take care of them. You can go for a house help, but please just be that person that you can have time for your children, for your husband, and everything should be fine.
Manage them.
Amen. So on the issue of house help, there is a joke I want to crack to close the docket of this discussion. So there was this wife who went to the husband and was like, let's consider this option. And the husband was quiet, and the lady was, why are you not speaking? He said, can you open your Bible? Can you open to Matthew chapter 6, verse 13a? That's what the man said. Yeah. Do you know what he says?
No.
Do not lead me to temptation.
He said that you.
It's been a very great discussion. God bless you for the insights. I think you blended each other very well. You came from a scientific point of view, giving us life examples. Yeah. I think that